Hello, everybody. Wave 3 meteorologist Brian Good on this Saturday night, filling in for the Mr. Andy Weingarten for tonight, who is out for this evening. Thanks for watching. Lots to cover in the coming weeks. Not so much really next week. I think overall next week looks pretty quiet. Weather-wise, a couple little bumps we'll talk about that'll be passing through here. But I think it's March that is going to be an active month for us. And when it comes to snow, I think March is probably going to contain some decent snow events in the Ohio Valley area. Now, is it going to snow here? I don't know that. No one knows that. But the pattern is very, very active, and I do think the areas of low pressure that are moving through in the month of March are much stronger than what we're going to have next week. So everything's on the table, including another storm that could get so strong that it goes north, and we are back into a thunderstorm potential again. So everything's on the table for March, certainly, but it does look active, and there is a lot of cold air still at play. So that's going to keep every storm system quite interesting. In the meantime, it's not going to be too bad out there. Let me show the latest on the radar and the satellite. We've had some high clouds around today. 64 the high today. Well, that is nice, wasn't it? Now, yeah, you see up here to the north, see that snow and rain developing across areas of Indiana into Ohio. This is going to, it's a very tight band here, but very impressive. I mean, nice returns here on the radar. It's snowing pretty good here north of Indianapolis. This band, though, is going to just kind of skim across the northern counties and kind of drift to the east. It doesn't really go any more south than what it is right now, and it just fades away off the radar altogether, so it will not bother us tonight. But it is a boundary that is reacting here, and it's that boundary that is going to push to the south tomorrow and could once again redevelop a very narrow band, just like we're seeing on the radar now, of rain and snow. Although this time around, when the band comes through, it's going to be limited on moisture once it gets as far south, so there's a chance that only this area has a chance to see anything at all as this band forms tomorrow. Let me show you what it looks like here on Futurecast. I think it's got a good handle on it. First off, temperatures outside as of this taping, it's almost 10 o'clock now, so we'll see these drop even more, and probably into the low 50s in Louisville. But chilly away from the city, but in the city limits, once again, one of the milder spots. But everybody will drop down in the 30s tonight. Tomorrow, that band will redevelop, as I mentioned, pretty much right on top of us, and just north of 64 as we get into the afternoon hours. Before it develops, I think we have a good shot of rising well into the 40s. Now, if it takes forever to form, these low 50s that you see to the south will push north and will be in our area. But I think the time in the front, the way it looks now as it moves across Indiana, should be just enough to cut us off at the pass with temperatures in the 40s. No 60s tomorrow. Sorry, folks. Now, the model shows it fading away by 6:30, but I will say there could still be some moisture here left behind, and it'll be in the shape of that probably and on the radar. If there is, the northern part of that through here will probably begin to change over to some light snow or a burst of some snow, and that trim will continue as it pushes off to the south. Again, it's not going to be a big deal. Worst case scenario here with these bursts of snows that could take place, you get a grassy accumulation or something on the cars and the rooftops. Roads, not a problem. It's been too warm lately, and the roads are warm, so we're not worried about that. All right, as we head into Sunday night, it's going to get cold. Temperatures down in the 20s around the area. But a very interesting pattern change develops. There is going to be another storm system coming our way later this week because we're going to see some Arctic air. You're going to hear that term polar vortex again this week, I got a feeling. And it's not the actual vortex that comes down. It's just a chunk of the colder air breaks free and moves south and east. But it is going to displace itself right over the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes as we head into the middle portion of this week. So it is going to turn colder by all means. It's going to get cold this week. And there is going to be another system that's going to try to develop in the initial cold wave Tuesday and Wednesday and then move off the eastern seaboard. Right now, it's like just a glancing band of snow as it comes through the area before it heads out. I wouldn't rule that out, but the models keep trending drier and drier with that. But it'll be a very small chance and probably limited to this area instead of Kentucky. But we'll fine-tune that. Nevertheless, I'm not excited about it, so you shouldn't be either. Okay, the cold air, though, is going to lock in play, and the warm air is going to get shoved into California yet again, warm and dry. They don't need that again. And then warm weather across areas of the Gulf of Mexico. Hopefully not too cold because spring breakers are hoping for at least somewhat of a warm water to put their toes into coming up for spring break. What is interesting about that, though, is the storm track. The areas of low pressure we've been talking about are going to track right on that borderline of that cold and warm, and that's where the strongest lows are going to track. And that's why the complicated forecast is going to come into play as we get into March because in some cases that warmer air is going to win out and some of the cold air is going to win out, and it's going to be a back and forth. In other words, a lot of headaches for March. We're used to that. We've had them all season long, so we can handle it. So for you snow lovers, nothing real exciting showing up in the next 7 days. Sorry, I know you may not have been satisfied enough, but March looks to be probably your time. And for you warm weather lovers, which I'm slowly starting to side with you guys lately, because I'm really itching for some warmer weather, and so is my electric bill. it looks pretty cold this week. Nothing like below zero or nothing, but it looks pretty cold this week. I do not see anything really warm come into play until maybe once we get into March, we try to get rid of that colder air and get that warmer air back. But I don't see anything like we have dealt with here recently coming back anytime soon. So there you have it. Pretty quiet week overall as we head into this last week of February and the first few days of March. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tonight at the Olympics.